Welcome to the Martial Lifestyle, the show where we cover all things martial arts, whether you're traditional, contemporary, extreme, we cover it all. If it's an aspect of the martial arts, we're going to talk about it. I am your host. My name is Danny. I've been involved with the martial arts for 23 years, and there's some things that I really feel like need to be expressed in the current state of the world. So, without further ado, a little bit about myself. I started when I was 23 years old. I was not allowed to as a kid. I was told it was too dangerous and I could get hurt. Since then, I went through schooling, moved out with my current wife, and we decided we were going to enter into the martial arts together. Did so at age 23. She was 21, and we both ascended through the color belt ranks, got our black belt, at which point she opted out, and she wanted to, spend her time being mom, and that was perfectly fine. I continued on, and I have attained many levels since, and today I think the main thing I want to get into is the lifestyle itself, because there are a lot of things that I'm seeing that just, they don't depict what martial arts really is. So, going back in history, obviously martial arts started out as a combat fighting skill in a time where, many of the people who were learning it were not allowed to have weaponry against, military groups that had weaponry, and they had to find other means to train and learn how to defend themselves. Over the course of time, it spread, and as it came over to the west side of the world, the common goal of the martial arts became a little bit more, I don't want to say diluted, but it became more friendly in the aspect that it became a virtue. That there came over with it the attitude of respect and focus and self-discipline and self-control, understanding that the martial arts has a great power behind it, and through that great power, obviously comes the great responsibility of using it properly, using it only when it's needed to be used. So that's kind of the aspect I want to get into, because I make lots and lots of martial arts videos. I've made probably over 500 videos, and they're all up on my YouTube channels, Facebook channels, TikTok channel, Instagram, you name it, I probably have it. And the most common thing I have noticed when I post videos is there is a constant barrage of martial artists who either did not learn those character traits, or they are completely ignoring them, because I get blasted by all kinds of martial artists. Typically, the majority of them turn out to be traditional martial artists and or MMA fighters. Nothing against them. I love all martial arts. I have a deep appreciation of everything I've ever seen within the martial arts. I love all of the forms, katas, whatever you want to call them. I love every aspect of the martial arts, period. I find the traditional arts to be absolutely beautiful. The art that I chose is not a traditional art. It is a contemporary art. And I have found great fulfillment within. Doesn't go to say that one is better than the other. I think they are all equal level, and I think they all take an equal amount of skill. They all take an equal amount of those character traits that have become synonymous with the martial arts in and of themselves. So, for instance, I know in our in our art, our main tenets are respect, self-discipline, concentration, perseverance. And those are the core things that we need in order to succeed within our martial art. Those are the main traits that we teach, along with several others, because in our art, every level has a quality that you are to learn and use on a daily basis. For instance, courtesy, humility, integrity, loyalty. All of these things are great attributes for a well-rounded human being, and it all adds into that responsibility that goes along with having the power of learning martial arts. I have my own personal views on many, many things, and I know a lot of martial artists will disagree with them, and they get kind of nasty about it. They don't come at you like, hey, I understand what you're saying, but here's how I feel. They are more like, you are a disgrace to the martial arts. You have single-handedly destroyed martial arts. And I'll be honest, if I had that much power in this world, oh my God, that is probably the greatest compliment I could ever be given, is that I have enough power and enough clout to take down the entire martial arts world. But I don't. I never claimed to, never wanted to, because I love the martial arts. It has done wonders for my life. It has changed me and made me a far better person than I ever was before. And I firmly believe that it can do that for pretty much everybody. If it was up to me, quite honestly, I would have in legislations that everybody has to take martial arts for a minimum of 4 years. If for nothing else, just to learn those core attributes of well-rounded human beings. I like to think of it as, the laws of the land are the bare minimum, the bare necessity to live a decent life. The martial arts is a much higher standard of living. And that is what I have found it to be. That is what I believe it is. And I will continue to believe that. No one can change my mind, because I've seen what it does for people. I've been teaching for 21 years now, and I've seen it literally change people's lives. It makes people come out of their shell. It gives people with, let's go to the medical world, ADD, ADHD. I've taught autistic kids. I've taught autistic adults. And I have seen it literally change their lives. It gives them a focus. It gives them a point that they can really, really stick to, and it kind of helps them overcome some of the other burdens that they are living. So with that, there's also many, many, many avenues within the martial arts. I don't believe there's just one. I don't believe it's just about, brutality and destroying another person and combatives and this, that, and the other, which, I'll be honest, when I post my videos, I don't post any of that. I don't post my combatives. I don't post my fighting most times. And when I do, it's usually testing, sparring, which is not the same as, let's say tournament sparring or street fighting or real life, life on the line type of scenario. It's just not. In testing, it is showing that you have the capability to spar, and in many cases, it's helping your partner who is also testing show that they can. So when we talk fighting, there are several levels of fighting that go on within the martial arts, not just the, can I break this person's neck or arm or leg or whatever damage I am trying to do. There is the sport aspect of martial arts, which is sparring. And what's the difference between sport karate and real life fighting? Rules. There are rules. No matter what style you do, No matter what cage you get in, there are rules. That is sport karate, all of them. And I'm not saying that to debase anyone in the MMA field or in Okinawan karate or whatever, Kyokushin, any of them. I'm not saying that to disparage anything that they've done. What I'm saying is when there are rules involved, that becomes a sport. Yes, there is a sport version of karate. Whether or not you want to believe it or, whether or not you want to fight against that, that's fine. But when there's rules, it is sport. Real life fighting, there are no rules. If this person is trying to hurt, maim, kill you, the rules go right out the window because do you want to go home to your family and, sit down to a nice meal, or do you want to let them? One of the two. It can't be both, unless you take action and put them down on the ground to where they cannot move, in which case, they're going to either get medical attention and eventually go home and eat dinner with their family or, whatever it is that they do, or the police are going to be called and somebody's getting in trouble. So real life fighting is a completely separate entity within martial arts. Yes, we do teach how to do those things. We also teach how to do sport karate. That is for tournaments. We teach tournament forms. We teach tournament weapons, and tournament weapons, not the same as fighting weapons, combative weapons, little bit different. And there's a whole separate skill set that goes along with it. A lot of what I post is tournament weapons. And yes, a lot of the movements would not be used in real fighting. I am not saying that it ever would. What I am saying is that these skills are incredibly challenging. They take a tremendous amount of focus and concentration and the understanding of physics. And I'm going to be honest with you. For me, it has taken me to a point of feeling so much more connected with my weapon because, in order to be able to manipulate what that weapon is doing, whether it be rolling across your body or flying in the air, you have to somewhat be one with that weapon and know exactly where it's going to be at what given point in time so that you can catch or, grab it coming off your body or over your arm, wherever it is. It really doesn't matter. But what does matter is that it is an aspect of the martial arts. Many, many, many have fought me on this, and I have yet to see anyone that is able to say with any degree of certainty that this is not a part of the martial arts world. It is. If you go to any martial arts tournament, you're going to see people doing it, with exception of traditional only tournaments. And again, that is sport karate. That is a whole different ball game from what you train to do in the dojo, dojang, whatever you want to call your building. It is a completely separate entity. There is another entity that gets involved with martial arts, and that is the spiritual aspect, the mental aspect, meditation, all of these things. And, when I'm doing my videos and I get these comments coming in, that's not martial arts, well, it kind of is. You go to martial arts tournaments, you see these things going on from other martial artists, which, by the way, most of what I do, I have learned from other martial artists. I've learned them from some outside sources, but I would say predominantly 90% of what I do, I've learned from martial artists. So if it's taught by martial artists, if it's done by martial artists, it is a part of the martial arts world. It's a one aspect of it. It is not the entire thing, not by any stretch of the imagination. At any rate, getting back to the spiritual side of things, as I get these nasty comments coming in, blah, 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 my simple answer to, that that's not, going to work in combat. I'm like, yeah, but neither is meditating. Neither is a push-up. Neither is a jumping jack. Next time somebody attacks you with a club or, even attacks you barehanded, I dare you, do 10 push-ups and see if that helps. Yes, it does make your body stronger. It does help you overall health-wise, but it's not going to help you in a fight, which is the argument that I get with the videos I post. And if I'm tossing my weapon, oh, I just punch you while it's in the air. Well, chances are if I'm seeing you coming at me, I'm not tossing it in the air. I'm swinging it at your head. And quite honestly, again, if you want to learn how to swing a stick, there are many different avenues that you can do this. Take baseball, take tennis, cricket, badminton. I don't care what it is, but you can learn to swing a stick anywhere. You learn to control a stick through martial arts. You learn how to control any weapon through martial arts. And that is the aspect of focus and concentration. And that is where the respect comes in, because holding a weapon, you have to, respect the weapon. You have to respect the ability of the weapon and what it is intended for. Yes, a staff is intended to bludgeon. A sword is intended to stab or slice. But if you don't respect those aspects of the weapon, then you yourself are going to get hurt. So in the same essence, you also have to respect the responsibility of holding that weapon. Because not only can you hurt yourself, you can badly damage another human being. So you have to have that character trait of respect in order to, what's the word I'm looking for? It is respect the sanctity of life, I guess, because life is a precious thing. Nobody wants to lose theirs, and if you are going around playing with a weapon, there's a chance that you could hurt, maim, or kill another human being, and that is not the respect that is warranted for any weapon that you may be holding. So I don't care what art you're from. I don't care if you're traditional, contemporary, extreme. All of them have wonderful, wonderful aspects to each of their given arts. And as their arts go, they should be teaching these other character traits, these other attributes, these other qualities of decent human beings as they are learning these things. And even so, without weapons, hand to hand, you should be learning these traits as well. There are some very, very offensive arts. There are some very, very defensive arts, though, if we're being completely honest, the martial arts, as they are taught in society today, are defensive. They are intended for defense only. Someone attacks you, you defend yourself, and you do enough to get out of this situation, not become the aggressor. As the aggressor comes in, your job is to defend yourself to a point where you can leave, get out. You're not supposed to be the person that then takes the initiative to continue beating and bludgeoning someone until they pass out, die, whatever. We are supposed to defend ourselves to a point where we can get out of said bad situation. All right. And that is my firm belief. I believe that we are meant to be good-hearted individuals. We are meant to be, defenders of those who can't defend themselves. And we are meant to respect the sanctity of life. That is something that I will never be talked out of. That is something that has been taught to me from day one when I started into the martial arts. And it is something that is still taught to this very day from my instructors, as well as I am teaching others the very same values. And values are what it's all about. Yes, I can learn how to, break legs in 16 different places. I can learn I can learn how to, rip somebody's tendons off of the bone. But unless I learn the value of life, I'm going to probably use that in a way that is not beneficial to the world. We are meant to be beneficial. We are meant to be the good guys. We are not supposed to be bickering with each other over what style is right. It's not about the style. I've made a video on this. I get so sick and tired of seeing videos. What's the best martial art? Well, I'm going to be completely honest with you. There isn't one, because it has absolutely nothing to do with the art. It has to do with the practitioner. The practitioner is what determines how good the art is. I don't care what art you're in. If you have devoted your time, your effort into being the best in that particular art style, you are a good martial artist. You're going to be a good fighter if you have learned techniques through your system and you have trained your tail off versus, the greatest art in the world, and somebody, goes to class once per, month or whatever, sits on the couch the rest of the time. They're not going to be the effective fighter of the worst martial art that trains their living tails off. This dude over here is probably going to take that dude down, regardless of the fact that he's taking the best martial art in the world, which there isn't one. It is all about the practitioner. How serious do you take your art? How much do you train? How hard do you train when you are training? Do you stop when you get tired, or do you keep going through it? One of my instructors has told me frequently, it's not when you come in the door and you're at 100% and you start training that you're getting better. It's when you are dead tired, when you feel like you can't do anymore and you keep going. That's when you're getting better. That is where the real improvement comes in. So these are all the things that really, really come to light when I get all these nasty comments on my videos. I don't care about the nasty comments. They don't affect me in the sense that they don't deter me from posting more videos. They don't deter me from taking my martial art and taking my martial art seriously, because I do. I take my art seriously. Now, I don't take myself too seriously, and I think that's another aspect that is being kind of missed with many of these other martial artists, is that they take themselves way too seriously. I feel like as I'm seeing all these comments, I'm so far superior to you because my stances are deeper, my blah, 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 you need to learn to do this and learn to do that. It's like, no, I don't take your art. I'm not in your school. You don't teach me. And this is going to be a whole nother episode, but that's where the term McDojo comes in and has become so diluted in its meaning, because anymore it pretty much refers to, any school that is not yours, that is any instructor that's teaching any art other than yours. And in many cases with some of these guys, it's like, if you're not in my school learning under me, you're a McDojo. And I'll get into that on a later episode. I don't want to deal with that today. But, today is all about the lifestyle of martial arts. Do you live it outside and inside the dojo? Do you tout respect to your students and then go online and disrespect every other martial artist you see? Or do you actually live what you're talking in your dojo? That is the biggest telltale of what is and isn't a good school. What is and isn't a good instructor. It has nothing to do with the art you're teaching. It has nothing to do with, anything other than, do you reflect those core values outside of the school that you're in? Are you taking that seriously? Or is that just a pastime for you? Is it just an after-school activity that can boost your ego? You know, there's a huge difference between the two words could and should. And this is something that needs to be taught frequently and reminded frequently. Could I go out and, blast all these other martial arts? Yeah, absolutely. I could blast them for several things. Should I? No, I absolutely should not, because that is why people are afraid to take martial arts, because there is absolutely no continuity between martial arts and respect, even though that's the core thing that we're putting out there into the world, is that we teach respect. We teach discipline. We teach self-control. All those values, all those core character traits, that's what's being put out into the world. This is what we teach you. Yes, you learn to punch and kick and defend yourself, but you're going to learn respect. You're going to learn control. You're going to learn discipline. Could I go after some of these other schools? Yes. Should I? No. That makes all martial arts look bad. And quite honestly, the people that are, dogging all these other extreme martial arts, traditional martial, if you're talking down another martial artist, you are the problem. All right? You are the problem. You are the person that is making martial arts look bad. It is a stain on the martial arts world that people do this, that they let ego take hold of them and run with it. And, unless you're training with them, under them, they're going to tear you down. That's not what this is supposed to be about. This is supposed to be about self-improvement. It's supposed to be about making yourself not just a better fighter, but a better person. Better fighters, that could be anyone with any mentality, and, they could go out and, start beating people up for no reason, hurting, killing people. That's not cool. We are supposed to be teaching. With what you're learning, you must be responsible. With what you're teaching, you must be accountable. And that's what's kind of messing with me. That's what brought me to making this podcast, is that I see so much hypocrisy when it comes to the martial arts industry, world, whatever you want to call it, the lifestyle itself. With so many facets of the martial arts, you can just be a student. You can be an instructor. If you're going to be an instructor, I hope to God you are teaching the values of respect and control and discipline and all the good stuff that you hear about we're supposed to be teaching. You can go the avenue of competition, which in many cases leads to extreme arts, learning how to toss the weapon, how to roll it across your body. And for all these guys that are calling people like that a cheerleader and a marching band leader and all that garbage, baton twirler, I hear that one a lot too. For all the people that use those terms, try it. Try it. I dare you. You will find out just how difficult it actually is. And you're going to look really, really silly for a long time until you gain the knowledge that comes along with it, until you gain the concentration that it takes to make those things happen, until you gain the level of physics knowledge to understand how it works. All of these arts are wonderful in everything they do. Traditionalists, MMA, contemporary arts, extreme arts, they are all fantastic at what they do. But they should not be discrediting what the others do. So that's going to be it for today, but I will be back with episode 2. Again, I hope you all take this to heart, and I hope this doesn't rub people the wrong way, though I'm sure it will. There are going to be people that disagree with what I'm having to say, and that's okay. There should be civil discourse, all right? Civil discourse, not unrest, not disrespect. Should be civil discourse. I might not agree with you, but I am willing to hear your side. And hopefully I will hear some of you on this podcast. I would love to talk with any and all of you on your views, your personal stories within the martial arts. I would love to hear them. But I'm going to sign off here. For the Martial Lifestyle, I am Danny. Make sure you check out all my socials. You'll be able to find those anywhere there is social. Just look up Supershea Tutorials. You'll find me. But you all have a phenomenal day and a phenomenal week. Take care.